The opinions and views expressed by individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of this network, their group, or other organization they may be involved with.
I'm looking at myself, reflections of my mind. It's just the kind of day to leave myself behind. So gently swaying through the fairyland of love. If you'll just come with me, you'll see the beauty of Tuesday evening news. Tuesday evening
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Psychedelic Reporters for this Tuesday, the 13th, here on NOK Network, the video news podcast where a mushroom is really high and focused on psychedelic medicine being reported in mainstream media with his beautiful co-host Tara that looks really stoned. Shout out to the guys in Dead Ringer from Kirkland Lake, Ontario for the awesome intro track originally recorded by the Moody Blues with some customized changes for our show. I am joined by the amazing joint host Tara Simpson, along with the one and only Bufo Alverius, who has chosen all of our stories for us. Hello, Tara.
Well, hello, hobbies, and hello, everyone. I'd like to take a minute to introduce Bufo. He's our Sonoran desert toad, or Colorado mud toad. Did you know he emits DMT from his skin? And while that sounds like fun, park rangers would like to remind everyone, please don't lick that toad.
Don't pick and prod shit you're not supposed to pick and prod at. Oh, man. So exciting week we had. You guys had a great Open Your Eyes show on Thursday. That was so kick-ass. If you guys are not following Open Your Eye with Kim Cooper and Tara Simpson, make sure that you follow that show on Thursday as well, since it is in the realm of psychedelics.
Absolutely. We have a lot of amazing hosts, including some that facilitate Bufo and ayahuasca and all sorts of neat modalities. So that's a great place to find out more, information from those who are using it or facilitating it.
So great. And speaking about great information, that brings us to our first article straight out of New Zealand. Now, this happened in the United States. A lot of major things covered it, but I enjoyed the fact that Bufo chose this because now New Zealand is watching what's happening over here and reporting it, and it just makes it on a larger scale, and it comes from rnc.co at New Zealand. An MRI brain scan shows shockingly large effect of psilocybin, and this is August 5th, 2024. Look at that brain.
That's so neat, eh? How it lights up in different areas and shows different patterns, I guess, of what's going on in the brain. Very, very cool. The effects of psilocybin on the brain are shockingly large. A new Washington University School of Medicine study has found psilocybin is the active compound in magic mushrooms. And for the study, 7 people were given doses of the psychedelic drug and then had their brains scanned by an MRI. The resulting heat map shows the drug desynchronizing certain brain networks and potentially enhancing its plasticity, with profound potential therapeutic applications. This work adds to the efforts to harness psilocybin's potential to treat some forms of mental illness. Neurologist David Nico Dozenbach worked on the study and was also a participant. He told RNZ's Saturday Morning, being in the MRI scanner as the psilocybin took hold was a strange experience, he said. The way we do these scans, if you look at a black screen which has tiny little white plus signs on it, and the plus signs start turning into rainbow colors and melting like an oil slick on the top of a puddle. Oh, wow.
Sometimes your vision gets blurry if you're there for hours and hours just staring at the little white plus. But when I knew this is not Ritalin control drug, his sense of time melted away, he said. One of the reasons I couldn't resist participating in this study was whenever I talked to people that this concept of inevitability of or something you can't describe as words, I also really wanted to see what it's like. And at some point of myself, sense of myself disappeared, which sounds silly. And it was simultaneous when my sense of time and space also disappeared, which makes sense in the terms of brain organization. Those computations are run by the same or similar circuits. As a neurologist, it was fascinating, he said, to look behind the curtain. Wow.
That's super cool, eh? You can remember what happened even though your brain function is so distorted. With most drugs, if your abilities get this distorted, you lose memory because your memory systems are finicky, like benzodiazepines and alcohol. So that's special for psilocybin. And if you're a neuroscientist, it's super fascinating to be able to remember all the completely distorted thoughts you were having. The scans showed the effects of psilocybin on the brain of the participants was shockingly large, he said. Normally, when we do an experiment and try very hard, we need a lot of statistical and maths to get a minuscule effect back. And this was an elephant compared to a mosquito. Shockingly large, a much, much stronger effect than I expected, which in retrospect fits with its subjective experience. Brain connectivity patterns were stable and unique to the individual, he said. On psilocybin at the peak effect on all the brains, the way they were organized or connected, we call it the psychedelic dimension. These have all changed in a similar way, but they all became more similar to each other. At that point on psilocybin, I was more similar to other people's brains on psilocybin than my own brain not on psilocybin, which was very unexpected. That was a shock. Wow, that's interesting.
Right. During those few hours on psychedelic, the brain was completely rearranged and then returned to normal, he said. The biggest effects on what we call the default mode network, which is the introspective or self-referential memory, and also time and space. And that's also where the participants reported the biggest effect. Time dilation, lost sense of space, and then ego death, and no longer feeling like you're you. So what's the possible therapeutic application to be drawn from the research? Treatment-resistant depression is on a contender, he said, along with conditions such as PTSD. It probably won't be magical for everyone, for everything, but I do think that I'm not the only one. Many, many, many psychiatrists and researchers in this area think the same way, that it has significant potential to be an option for some people who really are out of other good options. So this name Nico has been in lots and lots of different articles throughout us reading here on
Mhm.
Psychedelic Reporters. Dr.
Yeah,
Nico.
yeah, and he's also a doctor, so that's kind of cool. That he's a willing participant and happy with his results.
Right. And the fact that a whole nother country will cover that and now even implement that with their possible therapeutic, tests and it's just it may have helped him writing that article may have helped another country gain their psychedelic forwardness.
Absolutely.
Technologynetwork.com, the drug discovery rapid taking methods reveals psychedelics' immediate effects on the neurons. Now, this is going a little more in depth of what Dr. Nico was just talking about. And this is neuron tagging method reveals how psychedelic compounds impact individual neurons in the brain.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So admit the psychedelic renaissance, a prominent challenge, somewhat limits the adoption of psychedelic based compounds in a clinical setting. While a fury of studies have demonstrated some efficacy using psychedelics for treating psychiatric disorders, how these effects are achieved isn't so clear. It's important to think about the cellular mechanisms that these psychedelics act upon. Christina Kim, an assistant professor of neurology at the University of California Davis Center for Neuroscience and School of Medicine, and the affiliate of the UC Davis Institute for Psychedelics and Neurotherapeutics, said, equipped with this knowledge, researchers could improve patient outcomes by designing different versions of the compound that carry fewer side effects. Kim's lab at UC Davis developed molecular and optical approaches that aid in the study of neural organization and function in collaboration with David Olson, founding director of the Institute for Psychedelics and Neurotherapeutics and a professor in the departments of chemistry and biology and molecular medicine. Her research group developed a non-invasive protein-based tool capable of tracking neurons and biomolecules that are activated by psychedelic drugs. CA2 activated split turbo ID or CAST for short enables scientists to tag and follow molecular signaling processes in the brain quickly with a runtime of 10 to 30 minutes compared to several hours. The research is published in Nature's Method.
Wow. Tagging neurons in brief user-defined calcium concentration is the gold standard markers for tracking activity in neurons. When neurons are highly active, their intercellular calcium concentrations increase. We designed an activity-dependent enzyme that can attach a small biochemical handle to activated cells exhibiting high intercellular calcium. Our strategy was to re-engineer and repurpose the proximity labeling enzyme, split turbo 16, to report increased intracellular calcium in living cells by taking proteins with an extra-geniously delivered biotin molecule the researchers described in a mouthful. Proximity labeling enzymes like split turbo D16 have been used to take proteins for downstream analysis and enrichment over a period of several days. Him and colleagues engineered this system so that neurons can be enzymatically tagged in brief user-defined time windows. Once tagged, the neurons can feed then be detected using existing methods for biotin detection. We designed these proteins in the lab that can be packaged into DNA and then put into harmless adeno-associated viruses. Kim said, once we deliver the Cas tool and these proteins and neurons, they incubate inside the cells and start expressing. CAST was used to take prefrontal cortex neurons in the mouse brain after administering psilocybin. This area of the brain associated with several brain disorders and also experiences neuronal growth and strengthened connectivity after psychedelic administration. Mouse neurons treated with the new CAST labeling technique developed at UC Davis. CAST enables rapid labeling of brain cells as they respond to psychedelic drugs such as psilocybin or LSD. I'm going to stop this for a second. More mice getting better drugs than some of us U.S. citizens or nationalities when there is perfectly damn good human subjects that would stick their damn tongue out.
Right. Hilarious.
You want to read?
Oh. Yeah, where'd you leave off?
Kim and
Kim and colleagues could measure how psilocybin modulates neuronal activity in this area of the brain while simultaneously measuring a hallucinogenic behavioral correlation of psychedelic drugs in animals, the head twitch response. What's nice about CAST is that it can be used in a freely behaving animal, Kim said. Other tagging techniques require laboratory model heads be stabilized to achieve high quality images. She continued, biotin is also a great tagging substrate because there are many pre-existing commercial tools that can report whether biotin is present or not just by a simple staining and imaging method. How do psychedelics benefit the cellular profiles of people with brain disorders? The research team is further developing the CAS tool to achieve brain-wide cellular labeling, while also investigating novel ways to enrich proteins that are produced through psychedelics affecting neurons. Overall, they aim to understand why and how psychedelics can be beneficial for individuals with brain disorders and their cellular phenotypes. What we can send those samples to UC Davis's proteomic core facility, and they can give us an unbiased picture of all the proteins we've identified, Kim said. We want to examine their entire contents in terms of what proteins they express, what genes they express, and try to see what's different in the psilocybin treated animals versus control animals or animal models of diseases. Interesting.
Wow, the reference was Angueno, KAL, the rapid biochemical tagging of cellular activity history in vivo and that method, CO24DOI, blah, 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 blah. So this article is cool, but I'm still, call me silly and stupid, but I still can't conceive and wrap my head around the whole thinking that mice in human brains and dosages and all that, because you're looking at a whole different body mass, you're looking at a whole different species. I still can't grasp how it can be compared when you see those results and compare it to humans.
Absolutely. Granted, okay, so the mice didn't die. They didn't go absolutely crazy. Certain things didn't happen. Okay, so now we know it's safe, but we still don't know what the difference is with mice versus humans and the effects. Mm-hmm. So again, we need more human trials and less experimenting on animals. Right. An appropriate picture of what's happening, and the safety and dosage and efficacy and all of that. I mean, a mice is like this big. We're like, this big. Total difference.
It is. I agree, and I don't want to sound like a big advocate on it, but I mean, it's almost like a wasted study to me. It's like, oh, okay, so what? You got your feet wet in the studying? Let's go have some fun now and get the real testing done.
Yeah, exactly.
So our next article comes from Kingstonist.com. And this is Center for Psychedelics Health and Research officially opens at Providence Care Hospital. And this is written by Michelle Dory Forstel, local journalism initiative reporter.
Yeah, so this is coming out of Canada, which is very cool. A newly opened innovative center for psychedelic research and treatment in Kingston aims to overcome the stigma often associated with therapeutic use of psychedelics in a healthcare setting, while serving as a hub for research, education, training, and treatment. On Wednesday, August 7th, 2024, Providence Care, in partnership with Queen's University, celebrated the grand opening of the Center for Psychedelic Health and Research at Providence Care Hospital, located at 752 King Street West in Kingston. The center will be multidisciplinary, connecting local and national partners across various disciplines as they explore the therapeutic use of psychedelics in treating mental illness, substance use disorder, chronic pain, and palliative needs. According to a press release from the Providence Care, the center will be among the first of its kind in Canada. It will comprehensively approach psychedelic science, providing a national-wide platform for clinical trials, training opportunities for healthcare providers and researchers, and knowledgeable mobilization initiatives with clinicians, community members, and policy makers.
Dr. Claudio Storrs, professor of psychiatry at Queen's University and senior researcher at Providence Care, is the director of the center. He explains psychedelics are emerging as a therapeutic tool for a number of indications, with a strong potential to help people on their journey to wellness and recovery. Yet much is still unknown about the safety and efficacy of these agents, and regulatory bodies require better research and data than what we have currently. The work to be conducted at the center, it will not only benefit the greater Kingston community, it will shape the future of psychedelics in healthcare. Added source, Providence Care is at forefront of psychedelic health and research in Ontario, in Canada. I have no doubt about the center will help our healthcare system make informed choices about the efficacy and safety of psychedelics in the future. James Philpott, Dean of Queen's Health Science, explained that psychedelics have shown some promise for people who are struggling, including in the areas of mental health and addiction. We need research to build the knowledge base that will help us support these patients. That is why Queen's was an early leader in this area, and why I'm so pleased that Providence Care and its partners are taking on this next phase. Wow.
Very cool. This is happening. Like Kingston for me is about 4 hours ish.
Oh,
So
nice
that's
job.
pretty close. It's like in my province, but not within a city or two. It's about a 4 hour drive, but that's cool that that's happening already here.
That is so kick-ass. I like this article.
Yeah. The release goes on to say that oh shit, stupid phone.
It's all right. I just took a hit.
It's okay, I'll find it. My phone sometimes decides it's just gonna, skip to another page and shit like that.
Do you want me to read the paragraph? I'll read the paragraph.
No, I got it.
Oh,
The
okay.
release goes on to say that the opening of the center fits Providence Care's mission of instilling hope and enhancing the quality of life in the people served through partnership and innovation. The center not only represents hope for those with resistant conditions, but also underscores Providence Care's commitment to leading edge research and patient and client care. A psychedelic research collaborative founded at Queen's University in 2001 evolved into the new center with new support from the Ontario Brain Institute and the Canadian Biomarker Integration Network in Depression. High quality research and well-designed clinical trials will be essential to advancing the field of psychedelic health and informing clinical practice. With that in mind, we are delighted to partner with Providence Care and its new center as we establish a national clinical trial platform dedicated to psychedelic research, noted CanBind director, Dr. Benico Frey. The grand opening of the Center for Psychedelic Health and Research at Providence Care is just the beginning, and according to the organization, the next steps include furnishing the spaces with the necessary resources tailored to conducting clinical trials on psychedelic agents. The center is committed to education, collaboration, and engagement, and in the future will host various activities, including workshops and educational sessions for the community and partners to discuss clinical trial research and knowledge translation. Providence Care operates Providence Care Hospital, Providence Transitional Care Center, Providence Manor Long-Term Care Home, Hospice Kingston, and more than 20 community-based mental health and supportive services across the region.
Wow. So with them getting this, they can do this at all of their things across the region. So now, at the hospice, they'll be able to beta test like all the pain, chronic, like right,
Right.
And the old age stuff, like those studies. I mean, holy cow! This is like opening a whole new level of awareness in Canada. Like, I hope that gets Dr. Ira Price into his research stuff, so his puppets could do that video he said he'd hire us for.
Absolutely, that'd be so cool.
Oh man! Oh.
I know.
Huh?
I know, that'd be wicked, eh?
Right. So, speaking about me taking a hit earlier, that's medication time.
That's right. It's time to pay some bills. So stay tuned for a word from some of our sponsors, and then we will return with more articles Bufo has chosen, making mainstream media news.
Back in 4 minutes and 20 seconds here on Psychedelic Reporters on NOK Network. Come on, push the button, buddy. Push it. Uh-oh. Is this it? Oh, man. Hold on. My internet went. The kids must be playing video games. See if I could do that on that. Oh, I can. Let me change my camera.
Hey, hi, my name is John Mark, aka Sublimator Warrior, and I would like to welcome you to Smoke Signal in Tyendinaga.
One dab make your whole dome drip sweat. One dab make the homies all dip set.
Smoke Signals, Tyendinaga.
Smoke Signals, Tyendinaga. Smoke signals. Taindenaga.
Ooey, ooey, gooey, that's a sticky dab. Might just have to put this one on Instagram.
Smoke signals.
Go ahead,
Taindenaga.
hold it in, feel it in your wrist.
Smoke signals. Tayatanaga.
Check us out in Tyndonega. 55 Highway 49 in Tyndonega. It's on the res, and we're open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week.
Tune in daily to NOK Network's diverse podcasting lineup. Ganja News Update, Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern with Tara Simpson and Ron McNabb. Waking Up with the Wayniac, Tuesdays at noon Eastern with Wayne Cruz from sunny California. Grow 420, Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern with Ron McNabb. Psychedelic Reporters, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern with Hobbies Puppets and Tara Simpson. Peace, News and Views, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern with Sir Stevo and Kim Cooper. Thursdays we have Open Your Eye with Kim Cooper and Tara Simpson, 8 p.m. Eastern. Followed by Thursday Night Vibes at 9:15 p.m. Eastern with Master and Mama Rochi. The IWK 710 Daily Sesh airs 7 nights a week with our rotating joint hosts, nightly at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for tuning in to all the podcasting on NOK Network. Are you frantically pounding away on your keyboard these days to discuss your views, share your passions, teach a skill, or share a craft to the masses on social media? Podcasting is a bright light that can help you reach a diverse audience. And NOK Network can help. Even if you have no experience, NOK Network will work with you to develop your content to air on our diverse network to reach a wide audience, allowing us all to grow together. Podcasts are aired on multiple platforms simultaneously, across social media and streaming sites, live through our network. Contact us and let's chat about how we can help you develop your podcast and join the NOK team. Join us for NOK Network monthly specials, 12 months a year. Movie nights. Spotlight on entertainment. And live on location event coverage. Stay up to date about upcoming programming by subscribing to NOK Network on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Rumble. Check out our webpage at www.noknetwork.com. Advertising space available at NOK. Contact us for a rate sheet at NOKNetwork.com.
Now we get back to the show.
And we're back from our medication session live here on Psychedelic Reporters on NOK Network.
And we have another set of stories coming at you from the realm of psychedelic medicine. So let's get at it. Yeah, that was a good break, I tell you. Very, very lifted. All right. So this story we've been following. This is the FDA off of USTA Today. Oh, wow. What happened? Where'd my story go? Hold on. Okay. Psychedelic drug MDMA rejected as treatment for PTSD despite veteran support. Oh man, we've been following this, and this is written by Ken L. Tucker for USA Today.
Yeah, we've been following along with this for a while, and this is just more news on what's happening down there. The Food and Drug Administration on Friday rejected a California drug company's request to market the psychedelic drug MDMA combined with talk therapy as a treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder. The federal drug regulator told San Jose, California-based Lyco Therapeutics it completed a review of the company's application, but would not approve MDMA, also known as ecstasy or Molly, as a treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder. That's really sad. The decision was closely watched by academics, private companies, and investors who poured millions into efforts to develop psychedelic drugs as mental health treatments. The company's application, granted priority review by the FDA, had been championed by military veterans desperate for a new treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder amid stubbornly high suicide rates. The federal regulator requested Lykos conduct another advanced stage clinical study on the safety and effectiveness of MDMA or midomethamphetamine.
The FDA request for another study is deeply disappointing, not just for all those who dedicated their lives to the pioneering effort, but principally for the millions of Americans with PTSD, along with their loved ones who have not seen any new treatment options in over 2 decades. Amy Emerson, CEO of Lycos Therapeutics. Emerson said completely another advanced phase 3 study would likely take several years. Lycos had to overcome questions raised by outside experts on the quality of the research. In June, the FDA's Psychopharmacological Drugs Advisory Committee voted 9-2 against MDMA as an effective treatment for PTSD patients, and 10-1 that the drug's benefits do not outweigh the risk. During the advisory's panel discussion, members acknowledged the need for a new PTSD treatment, but raised questions about the company's data and study design. Emerson said the company thinks many of the issues raised by the FDA and its advisory committee can be addressed with existing data, post-approval requirements, or through reference to the scientific literature. Lycos said it will meet the FDA staff to the agency to reconsider this decision. It also plans to seek the recommendation of possibly resubmitting for approval. Wow.
I know. Earlier studies showed about 86% of participants who received the MDMA treatment along with therapy reported reduced post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms, and 71% improved to such a degree they no longer met diagnostic criteria for post-traumatic stress disorder. Among those in the placebo group, 48% no longer met post-traumatic stress disorder criteria. Last week, members of Congress expressed support for the new treatment. In an August 2nd letter to President Joe Biden, U.S. Republican Jack Bergman, a Michigan Republican, and a bipartisan group of 60 House members urged a fair review of the therapy. In the letter, the Bergman and other House members said the FDA hasn't approved a new treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder in 25 years. This astounding lack of innovation has undoubtedly contributed to the rising veteran suicide rate over the past 2 decades, the letter said. Earlier this year, the Institute for Clinical and Economic Review, an independent nonprofit that reviews prescription drugs, issued a report questioning aspects of the clinical trials. And that's where she ends. And that's the end of the article. And I think we lost hobbies. I think somebody's computer crashed. And so we'll move on to the next article. The next article comes to us from Marijuana Moment. And this one is Massachusetts governor signs a bill to create psychedelic working group for veterans therapy. So I guess this is kind of a follow-up to this last article. So the governor of Massachusetts has signed a military veterans focused bill that includes provisions to create a psychedelic working group to study and make recommendations about the potential therapeutic benefits of substances like psilocybin and MDMA. I think we're getting hobbies back. Hey, you're back. You're back.
Oh man, that kind of sucks, dude. The internet, new router, lightning took out the whole thing a while back. We got new boxes, but stuff just isn't the same yet.
It's okay. We moved on to Article 5 from Marijuana Moments. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You can continue. Let me pull that up.
So Governor Maura Healey initially introduced the proposal titled the Honoring, Empowering, and Recognizing Our Service Members and Veterans. So the HERO Act last November. It cleared the legislature last month in an amended form before being transmitted to her desk and being signed into law on Thursday. In a press release under a section titled Modernization of Veteran Services, the governor's office highlighted that the legislation established a working group to study the benefits of alternative therapies such as psilocybin for treating veterans' mental health disorders.
The psychedelic language wouldn't immediately see the framework for legal access, but it would require the Executive Office of Veterans Services to convene a working group to study alternative therapies for mental health treatment for veterans and exploring whether psychedelics could be associated with improved outcomes among veterans with diagnosed mental health disorders. The panel would need to evaluate literature, research trials, and expert opinions to determine if psychedelic therapy is associated with the improved outcomes regarding mental health treatment for veterans, and it would be required to issue recommendations regarding provisions of psychedelic therapy to treat veterans with mental health disorders in the Commonwealth. Can you take over my computer?
Yeah. Members would need to assess whether psychedelic therapy is associated with improved outcomes among veterans with diagnosed mental health disorders and evaluate literature, research trials, and expert opinions to determine if psychedelic therapy is associated with improved outcomes regarding mental health treatment for veterans. The working group would need to file a report with findings and recommendations with the clerk of the House and Senate and 2 joint legislative committees no later than January 1st of 2025. We wholeheartedly support the Governor's HEROES Act as a crucial expansion of veterans' benefits, their inclusivity, and necessary modernization of services. Rebecca Slater, a veterans community facilitator at the Boston Psychedelic Research Group and co-founder of the Open Circle Alliances, said in a press release. We are especially enthusiastic about the creation of a working group to study the benefits of psychedelic medicine to treat post-traumatic stress disorder, making good on the promise of cutting-edge research from leading medical institutions like Mass General Hospital and Johns Hopkins, she said.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Senate and House of Representatives had previously approved differing versions of the overall veteran legislation and psychedelic provisions, and bicameral negotiators on a conference committee agreed to the final version that cleared both chambers. The House version of the bill had included an amendment to add a section that would have created a pilot program to examine medical cannabis as an opiate alternative for veterans, but that provision did not make it to the final legislation, now being going to the governor's desk. Where's the article going? Can you take over?
Enactment of the HERO Act comes after a Massachusetts Joint Legislative Committee advised the legislature not to pass a broader psychedelics legislation initiative. Secretary of the Commonwealth, William F. Galvin, last month certified that activists collected more than enough valid petitions for the proposal to go before voters. Lawmakers were required to consider the psychedelics measures spearheaded by the campaign Massachusetts for Mental Health Options after the state certified advocates had submitted enough valid signatures in initial petition round last year. In May, the Special Joint Committee on Ballot Initiatives issued a majority report that formally recommended against passing the measure as drafted.
Wow.
Oh, it keeps going.
Oh, wow. The campaign first led to two different psychedelic reform initiatives in August, and after the state attorney general determined that they both met the constitutional requirement for ballot placement. The following month, activists decided to pursue the version that included a home cultivation option. 8 cities across Massachusetts have enacted policies to locally deprioritize enforcement of laws against psychedelics, and an effort that has been led by BSNM, Salem, Somerville, Cambridge, East Hampton, Northampton, Amherst, Providence, PC. The Cambridge City Council and Somerville City Council also voted to endorse the statewide psychedelic ballot measures this month. Meanwhile, a different Massachusetts legislative committee advanced a bill in February that would legalize psilocybin therapy in the Commonwealth and set up a framework to license facilitators who would supervise medical, therapeutic, and cerebral applications of the drug. Representative Mike Connolly, a Democrat, also filed a bill in 2021 that received the Joint Judiciary Committee's hearing on studying the implications of legalizing entheogenic substances like psilocybin and ayahuasca.
Wow. So it sounds like they want to push forward, but they're getting some resistance down there.
Well, and I don't know how much people are watching what just happened with the FDA now. Get people a little skeptical. You don't know. You don't know that now people are kind of conscious to bringing jumping on the wagon.
Yeah, I know. Everything's got to be regulated and controlled, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
The last article, and this is why everybody is still doing it, and this is brought to us from openpr.com. And this is psychedelic mushroom market anticipated to raise US $71 billion by 2032, CAGR of 11.18%.
Yeah, pretty wild. The global demand for psychedelic mushroom market is anticipated to grow significantly, with the market size expected to reach nearly $7.01 billion US by 2032, up from $2.7 billion in 2023. This growth is projected to occur at a robust CAGR of about 11.18% during the forecast period from 2024 to 2032. The market expansion is driven by the increasing research and development in mental health treatment, rising acceptance of alternative therapies, and growing awareness of potential benefits of psychedelic substances in treating conditions such as anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder. Moreover, the gradual regulatory shift in favor of therapeutic use of psychedelics is expected to further fuel market growth. As the industry evolves, key players are likely to focus on clinical trials, strategic collaborations, and product innovations to capture a larger share of this burgeoning market.
Get more information on global psychedelic mushrooms market research. Question 3. Oh, wait. The major players in psychedelic mushrooms market include companies, Pathway, MiniMed, Field Trip Health, Sky Life Sciences, Carbon Incorporated, Artisan Innovations Group, Revive Therapeutics, Luminous Wellness. The global market for psychedelic mushrooms is at a cusp of a major transformation with significant opportunities in therapeutic applications, de-addiction programs, and recreational use. As the landscape continues to evolve, stakeholders, including researchers, healthcare providers, and entrepreneurs, are well positioned to capitalize on the growing demand and contribute to the advance of this promising field. The global market for psychedelic research is undergoing a transformative phase driven by increasing interest in potential therapeutic, educational, and de-addiction applications. As more research uncovers the benefits of psychedelic compounds, the market is projected to experience significant growth from 2003 to 2032. See how they mirrored that? This article provides a comprehensive analysis of this global psychedelic mushroom market segmented by the product type format. Read it.
Yeah. So, understanding psychedelic mushrooms, commonly known as magic mushrooms, contain psychoactive compounds like psilocybin and psilocybin, which induce altered states of consciousness. These mushrooms have been used for centuries in spiritual and traditional practices, but are now being explored for their potential in modern medicine and wellness. Market dynamics and trends. Rising therapeutic applications. The most significant driver of the psychedelic mushroom market is the growing body of research supporting their use in mental health treatment. Clinical trials have shown promising results in using psilocybin-assisted therapy for conditions such as depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and addiction. This shift from the recreational to the therapeutic application is a key trend shaping the market. De-addiction programs. This one is especially important in today's society. Psychedelic mushrooms are gaining recognition for their potential in de-addiction therapies. Studies suggest that psilocybin can help individuals overcome substance use disorders by providing profound insight and altering entrenched behavioral patterns. As awareness of these benefits spread, demand for mushrooms in de-addiction programs is also expected to rise.
Regulatory changes and legalization. The legalization of psychedelic mushrooms in certain regions and the decriminalization of their use in others are major factors contributing to market growth. As regulatory barriers begin to lift, the market is expected to expand and attracting and attracting the market at the same time. Recreational use and wellness. While therapeutic and de-addiction applications are gaining traction, recreational use remains a significant segment of the market. Psychedelic mushrooms are used by individuals seeking spiritual experiences, personal growth, and enhance creativity, contribute to their substantial popularity. Segmentation and regional impact. Psilocybes, the most well-known and widely studied genus psilocybe mushrooms, contain high concentrations of psilocybin, are primarily used in therapeutic and recreational contexts. Immunobiologist note for their better taste and less chemical usage. Positive mushrooms also contain compounds are being explored for their unique properties. These mushrooms, recognized for their potent effects, are often used in traditional recreational settings. The five forms are fresh whole mushrooms that consume directly in various culinary applications, preferred by their natural unprocessed state. Dried mushrooms are stable for storage, for example, used in both recreational processed or food extract. That's edible. Formulations inspired by size, dosing.
By application, de-addiction, psilocybin-assisted therapy for addiction treatment is a growing application with research supporting its efficacy in treating alcoholism, nicotine dependence, and other substance use disorders. Recreational use remains a substantial market with individuals seeking mind-altering experiences and personal growth through controlled and intentional consumption. The therapeutic segment is expanding rapidly, driven by clinical research and growing acceptance of psychedelic therapy in mental health care. By regions, North America leading the market with strong research initiatives, progressive regulations, and growing acceptance of psychedelics for therapeutic use. The US and Canada are at the forefront of this trend. Europe is witnessing increased research activity and public interest, particularly in countries like the Netherlands, where psychedelic mushrooms have been decriminalized. Asia Pacific emerging as a new market with growing interest in alternative therapies and wellness practices, particularly in regions with traditional use of psychedelics. Latin America and Middle East and Africa, while still developing, these regions have significant potential due to their cultural heritage and increasing openness to psychedelic research and therapy. Future outlook and growth projections. The global psychedelic mushroom market is expected to grow substantially over the next decade, driven by increasing acceptance, regulatory change, and expanding applications in medicine and wellness. The market is projected to witness a robust compound annual growth, reflecting the rapid pace of innovation and adoption. Very cool.
Right. And this is why people are doing it. I mean, this is why psychedelic is on the forefront, because not only is it fast and good meds, lots of usages out and throughout the world, but it also is a big money maker. But regardless, remember what happened with the cannabis stuff. The fact is that there's going to be companies going under, there's going to be sellout rates, so be careful with the stock because it's an unregulated market at this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that brings us to the end. And thank you for joining us here on Psychedelic Reporters on NOK Network. Thanks for tuning in to our video podcast on NOK Network, Rumble, and YouTube page, as well as our social media sites.
That's right. We hope you enjoyed your update today on mainstream media coverage of psychedelic medicine advancements from around the globe.
Many thanks to our sponsors and to my joint host, Puppets Simpson, and to Bufo Alverius for choosing the stories, and to you, our listeners, for joining each week on Psychedelic Reporters. Let's hear for Dead Rangers and for Kirkland Lake on our way out. Woo!
Woo! Night, everyone. Peace.
It would have helped if I didn't keep this stuff going and I played the commercial or the ending. Hold on.
looking at myself, reflections of my mind. It's just the kind of day to leave myself behind. So gently swaying through the fairyland of love. If you'll just come with me, you'll see the beauty of